I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out. Lightning in a bottle. I think I just found my perfect sound. Can you see the fire in my eyes? Bitch, it's burning out.
Yo, how you living, how you feeling, how you doing? First Choice Fantasy, and we are back today. This is week 3 of the NFL season. We're doing start sits for the running back position. Alex, I'm handing the baton off to you. Take it and run with it, please.
I like that. I like that. You're not giving yourself the chance to stumble there.
Yeah, I'm not stuck.
Take it. All right. We're going to start off. I'm going to go with Chris Carson. And you might be thinking,
Whoa.
No, you better not be thinking that, actually.
Yeah.
That would be stupid. I know the Cowboys have pretty much held – I know Malcolm Brown had 2 touchdowns, but in terms of yardage-wise, they held the Rams in check. They didn't really do a whole lot. He had like almost 20 carries for 70-something, 18 carries for 79 yards. Cam Akers didn't really do anything. Todd Gurley didn't really do anything last week. But, Chris Carson, man, now he's scoring touchdowns through the air. Oh, it's over. It's over. The guy's been, dependable for a while. I know we've just been trying to get rid of him. Come on, why is Rashad Penny not in the game? But it really begs the question of why you take a running back in the first round if you had one already. But that's a question for Seattle. No wonder they traded all those picks. Man, they can't draft with shit anyway. But I'm going with Carson here. Even if they're losing, he's going to get work in the air, and they love giving him carries in the red zone. So start him. Start him every week. As long as he's out there, as long as his hips are functioning. Start. You want me to do the other one?
Go into it.
Two at a time. I'm going to go with – I don't like agreeing with Brandon for the sake of competition, but I forgot he chose him as his waiver wire, so I'm going to go with Myles Gaskin. You son of a bitch. I hope he screws up. I hope he does bad.
Starting Myles Gaskin. Holy
hell.
Okay.
Myles Gaskin. Now, I say that because Jacksonville is not good. Defense. I don't think they should be. Somehow they made Phillip Rivers look bad. Just kidding. Not somehow. Phillip Rivers does that on his own. Gaskin, they somehow out of the Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, and him trio, which I don't even know that was supposed to be a trio. We all kind of just assumed it was going to be the Howard Breida show, but fuck do we know? This ought to be his backfield. He has been the far better play than both of them. He's starting to get more volume. He's getting work both in the air and on the ground. I say start him. What the hell do you got to lose? I mean, because 85% of all of our running backs are already hurt, and pretty sure that percentage is higher for receivers. So at this point, who else do you got? Start him. So he's got a great name, Gaskin. Miles with a Y. Now, how often do you see offensive players with Miles with a Y? You got Miles Jack. You got Miles Garrett. This Gaskin plays running back. You got to trust that.
He's starting the offensive trend.
Trust it. All right. Brandon, you're up next.
Brandon,
I'm up. All right, I've been chosen. And you know who else has been chosen? Jerick McKinnon. And you know why? Well, because he's the only one left. And this 49ers backfield is just always decimated with injuries. And Jerick McKinnon is a receiving back. He is now the running back because Tevin Coleman, as of right now, is not looking too bright for him to be playing week 3. And also you got Raheem Mostert, who is also banged up. So Jerick McKinnon, he's the next man up going against the poorest New York Giants defense. I think the Giants will be able to score on this banged-up defense. They were able to against Pittsburgh with Daniel Jones. And, although Saquon Barkley, losing him was a huge loss, I think in this game it won't not matter, but it, for the aspect of it being a competition, I think it'll be a high-scoring game. And I think they'll need to pass the ball to their receiving back and also obviously need to run it too. Mix it up. My second start, it's a little less confidence.
Week in a row.
It's a little less confidence in this pick. DeAndre Swift, I've got as a start. Really, I'm starting him here Had him as a start last week against Green Bay. It didn't hurt you, but at the same time, it didn't win you a week. However, here against Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals I've seen a little bit of issues with them and running backs, receiving backs in particular, and that could be skewed because of week one. Raheem Mostert had a big touchdown reception, I believe. But I still think it's going to be a good matchup for Swift. He's used as a receiving down back. Kenny Galladay is also looking to be coming back. So I think that alone will set the Lions offense in a better situation. And also the Cardinals, this goes both ways. I think the Cardinals will keep this a competitive game. And I think Swift will benefit because he is another receiving back, because receiving backs are nice to have in fantasy. Ed.
I'm going to go back to your Jerick McKinnon take real quick.
Sure.
He was my waiver wire pickup. That was my,
I thought he was one of ours.
Yeah, he was. He was on
Ed beat me to do that.
I did indeed. I had to. But
I wanted both of those guys, but then, that I was too slow.
The only concern with Jerick McKinnon is his, knees. Yeah, knees, and I don't know if they're going to.
I think he has paid the toll. I think they're going to let him go free this year.
You kind of have to hope, but then again,
dudes are dropping left and right. But he has already paid the tax.
Yeah, injury-prone players are just going to be fine. AJ Green, T.Y. Hilton. I mean, although they might not produce, they'll still be there.
They'll still be there. The Giants, though, like you said, they're playing the Giants this week. And the Giants have allowed Benny Snell to walk all over them, in case you missed out on that week one matchup against the Steelers. And then week two, they also let David Montgomery look like a god out there. So McKinnon's a valid play if he gets a volume. Just wanted to comment on that. I guess I'll jump into my two picks of the week. My two starts are going to be Kenyon Drake and J.K. Dobbins. Kenyon Drake plays the Detroit Lions, who hasn't really done much. Their defense is bad. We know this. Obviously, the secondary is not good. The past few weeks, they played the Packers, which Aaron Jones, just decimated them. 168 yards on 18 carries, 9.3 yards per carry. Fuck you, Brandon, because you had him against me, which irritated me. But regardless, Dave Montgomery also played them week one, 4.9 yards per carry. And that's something of note, obviously, because it's David Montgomery. And like I said, David Montgomery is – what did I say last year, Alex? What did I say David Montgomery was last year?
You said he was a poor man's Carlos Hyde? Was that what it was?
I said that last year. Don't believe it, but I did say that at one point. So, obviously, David Montgomery's no star. And they made him look good. So, my take –
I love that one, though.
Is Kenyon Drake, because Kenyon Drake's good and he's good. That's the reason. J.K. Dobbins, this is more of just like a gut pick. I really have nothing to back this up. KC's defense, rushing defense-wise, has been pretty poor lately, and I feel like the Baltimore run game is going to succeed against Kansas City Chiefs' run defense. All I got to say about it.
That's good enough. Who wants to go with their shifts? Who's starting off?
I'll start off because Ed brought up my first sit, and that's David Montgomery. You brought him up. Don't you think he's the poor man's Carlos Hyde? Although I don't personally agree with that. I think he's a little bit more talented than that.
What is the poor man's Carlos? Is that guy in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't think so. That's like one of our
Mike
dads.
Warren. No, it's Mike. He's on our practice squad.
So, David Montgomery against the Falcons. This is just not game script. This is a game script where David Montgomery will hardly see the field. I don't think he's going to be used much outside of the first 2 quarters because the Atlanta Falcons offense, if you haven't watched it already, our QB episode, Start Sets, was posted today. Who knows? Just gotta look at our channel, subscribe, and you'll figure it out through YouTube. Anyway, Ed brought up this nice little tweet by David Zach, right? All right, and then the Falcons have 72% total yards allowed has come through the air through the first 2 weeks. And that leads you to your reasoning for starting Mitchell Trubisky. And I think this is pretty apparent to why David Montgomery is a sit after that stat. If the Bears are smart and they recognize this as well.
Ed and I both have interjections. This could get bad.
Go on.
All right. Now, what are you going to do when the Bears defense just puts Matt Ryan in a headlock and grinds that game to a halt?
I don't think they will.
Ekes out 35 carries.
They could hardly do that against Matthew Stafford and the Kenny Galladay-less Lions.
Stafford can play. I will not be having the Stafford slander. I swear I will walk over there and
But the lack of weapons is more of a challenge. The Atlanta Falcons offense has so many weapons at tight end, at wide receiver, at even running back, although they don't use them much. But, which is a good thing. They shouldn't use them much because that offense rolls if they use it correctly, which they do. They just can't stop anyone on defense.
Ed,
anyway,
what
was your objection?
Interjection. I was going to say this is probably one of those game scripts that Tariq Cohen gets some play and is a valid flex play. So that could be another start that I was struggling to find for my second start, but we could say he is honorable mention per se. We can dive into your second one now here.
All right, my second sit. This one's pretty simple. It's Kareem Hunt. I have him as a sit with the against the Washington football team. I don't like the matchup. The Washington's defensive line is crazy good, pretty intimidating. And although Kareem Hunt has upside through receiving downs, I would rather play Chubb in a matchup because he's a star, obviously. Hunt, I feel like, can be not forgotten in a game script, but can be ineffective if the game goes in that direction.
He was practically forgotten last week at the beginning of the game. Like the first half, he was just eventually
he finished with like 20 points.
Yeah.
Solid out.
But,
he's been a pleasant surprise.
I needed to sit one of these running backs against this defense. I just couldn't bring myself to sit Nick Chubb.
I wouldn't sit Nick Chubb personally.
That would have been.
I don't think this Washington offense is good enough for them to, the Browns be playing from behind. Even though the Browns are bad, I don't think they're going to be playing from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. All right, you want to take this? You want me to go?
You can go ahead.
All right. So you remember, if you probably don't remember if you didn't watch the wide receivers video from last week, but Ed decided to go out of the box a little bit and just sit all of the Eagles receivers. Well, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to sit all of the Panthers receivers because if you're like me, you're mourning the loss of Christian McCaffrey in 3 separate leagues for a month. Your first instinct might just be, Mike Davis got a lot of catches for 80 yards last week.
Eight of them.
They have some guy named Reggie Buffon, something like that. They have another 2 guys who you've never heard of before. Those are kind of the key words. You haven't heard of this guy.
I still haven't heard of them before.
Despite the fact that I just told you their names, you still haven't heard of them. So I think this is going to be a mess. I think they're going to probably lean on the passing game because they don't have McCaffrey. And they're playing the Chargers, and the Chargers have kind of like made the Chiefs trek through mud. They had a low-scoring game the first game with Cincinnati, even though Cincinnati's looking like they got a good offense. So I don't know if the Panthers are just going to be marching up and down the field. I don't like these running backs. I feel like you should just go with a safer option and not start someone in Mike Davis. After that, I'm going to go with David Johnson because, as Ed can attest to, with that bet he lost on Saquon failing to get like 13 yards in the second half against Pittsburgh, it is tough sledding over there. They're not screwing around, man. And David Johnson might have caught the Chiefs off guard a little bit, but he sure did not catch the Ravens sleeping. And I don't think they're going to catch the Steelers either. And I think the Steelers have shown that they're probably more vulnerable through the air than on the ground, at least from what I've watched. I'm not feeling David Johnson this week. Ed's got to start on their team, but it's not a running back. So probably have more on that in a minute. But I'm not feeling Johnson. He had a solid week one. I hope you moved him. You probably didn't. Why? Why didn't you? These people, man. Ed, you go.
All right. My sits of week 3 at running back position, I have Melvin Gordon against Tampa Bay. Obviously, Tampa Bay is one of the most stout defenses up front in the run game, and I think that's going to – last week, I sat Melvin Gordon against the –
3 weeks in a row, actually, we have sat Melvin Gordon. We have paid for it the first 2 weeks. Will we go for 3? We should just sit him every week. That should just be our weekly sit Melvin Gordon segment.
Yeah. I mean, now with no Drew Lock, not saying Drew Lock was great, but Jeff Driscoll at quarterback, he might get some more checkdowns and whatnot, but I don't know. I just don't.
They signed Bortles, though.
They did sign Bortles. They signed the GOAT Bortles. I swear to God, if he starts, I'm going to –
There's no way. It's 2020, man. Bortles could start. Throw him out there.
But against Tampa Bay.
Don't even go over the game plan with him. Just
start Blake Bortles right out the gate.
Yeah.
If Blake Bortles plays, like if he starts, he's probably going to check down to Melvin Gordon about 8 times. So, with that being said, I think Melvin Gordon might have a good game if Blake Bortles starts. But
I don't think they're going to start the guy who's probably going to join the team like on Thursday. But
you never know, man.
It would be great if they just brought him in Saturday night. They're like, hey, you're going to start. I haven't got the playbook. Yeah, it's fine. We're just going to throw him quick slants the whole game.
As far as Melvin Gordon, the offensive line over in Denver is a plus. That is one thing. I thought that Melvin Gordon was going to do bad last week against Pittsburgh, like I said, and he didn't. He actually proved me wrong. I think he put up a 20-piece, maybe.
Proved both of us wrong, Ed.
Oh yeah, you had him.
I was in on him too. Yeah, I was confident about it.
Oh yeah, same. I was very confident about it. I said the whole Saquon spiel. It didn't work because he had 15.4 points. He averaged 3.7 yards per carry, which is bad, but he still made up for it with that touchdown. Now moving on to my second running back sit of week 3. It's Todd Gurley. He's bad. Stop. Just if you think Todd Gurley has like a top 10 running back ceiling ever again, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He's I pity hear people saying
he has lost work to Brian Hill and Enos.
He has not.
Brian Hill is one of those guys in training camps where, like, for 3 years in a row, the team's like, he looks really good this year. We're telling you, there might be something. And then, like, the first game, he goes on high and hard. Like, well, maybe next year.
He has 0 evaded tackles. 0. He hasn't broken a single tackle this year.
That's honestly just kind of depressing because, like 2 seasons ago even, I think, he was just running through guys with reckless abandon. Shit, that 2 years ago. Remember that playoff game against the Cowboys?
Yeah.
He scourged them. And now,
he was best running back in football that year.
3 years ago, I mean, like –
it's a shame.
It's a hard knock life, man.
2.9 yards per carry against Dallas and 0 evaded tackles on the entire year. Leads to a sit for Todd Gurley in week 3.
He makes a lot more money than I do, so I don't feel bad.
Straight. He's a sit.
Yeah, he's a millionaire at 26. You could imagine. All right. I guess that about marks the end of this video. Week 3 running back start sits. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out the quarterbacks video. Check out the wide receivers coming out soon. Check out the tight ends video. And if you're interested in betting, check out betting. Hasta la vista, baby.
Later.